If there's one company that stands out from the crowd in terms of electronics and what it's offering customers at the moment, it has to be Traintech. There are a number of products that it offers to make your model railway more animated with different sounds and things like that. However, there is one product that's caught my attention, and I'm going to demonstrate how it's used and how you can fit it on your model railway. So, aside from the product brochure, which gives you the complete lowdown on everything in the range, this is what we're going to be looking at today. It's the SD1 Smart Screen from Traintech. Here it is in situ. Now, I've wired this up at the rear. You can see there are just two little solder pads to which you connect power. They're marked P there. And inside you get a nice concise set of instructions which shows you which connections to connect where before you get started, which is always good to see. And I'm going to keep this instruction manual to my side because it's going to be required, essentially. This is a small screen which measures around about 25 millimeters in length and about 9 millimeters high. So this is something that you can easily sight on your model railway on a, say, a Modern Image post-2000 era platform. You can display many different messages on the screen, which we will go through in a bit, or perhaps have something like this on inside a coach, for instance, as a destination board, which many trains have at the moment. So the lowdown of this is that you can have two different messages displayed on screen at once. You can also have a live time, which is updated as per a proper clock. You can have this controlled from a CV, which is the CV address of your locomotive, so that it changes the message displayed as you switch direction of your locomotive. You can also connect it up to a sensor, so the change of message would perhaps take place on arrival of a train in a platform, for instance, and then you could have something else display. And of course you can display various different messages. You could have something like warning ice on road if it was above a motorway gantry. You could have something on a platform saying train approaching platform 2, or perhaps train delayed. Messages are endless. So let's get into this and see if we can change the current message. So I'm using Bachmann's Dynamis Ultima system here in the studio, so we're just going to switch that on. Now this is a message that I had to go at before, BRM Practical, and you can see we've got the time there displayed of 9 o'clock. Currently we have the locomotive address on display of 56. This address is used to change the time of the clock. We don't want to change the time of the clock just yet, we want to change what words are displayed on the screen. And for that, according to the instructions, we want address 55. So I'm going to select address 55, enter that into the command station, and I'm now going to press F8, which is the command which gives us access to the different settings which are displayed there on the screen. Now it's simple, we've got two menus here. We've got, or one menu rather, with two options. We can either edit the message or edit the controls. Message being the text, controls being how that message is commanded. Essentially, is it going to be via a sensor? Is it going to be with the address or something else like that? So if we just hit F4 to edit the message, we can now see, press F6 to edit the message. So on screen now you can see a small cursor which is under the letter B, and essentially this is like a keyboard. We're going to use the programming station to change each of these individual letters. If I refer back to the sheet, you can see here we've got all the different instructions which shows us essentially how we go about moving this cursor on screen. So we can move it left, we can move it right, we can move it left, we can choose a different character, we can insert a character, delete a character, save the message and finish, or erase the entire message. So let's erase the entire message to start with. Makes it a lot easier by pressing F9. Here we are on the keyboard, F9. The message is empty. Okay, so we can now start writing a new message. So on screen now you can see we've got Smart Screen, all messages deleted, which is what we want. Now we want to start adding messages to this. So again, we go through the process of selecting F8. We wait for it to go through the various options and the menus, and then we come back to the Edit Message or Edit Controls menu. So if we select Edit Message, which is F4 on our command station, and then F6 to edit, this message is empty. Brilliant. So we can now start adding a message to this screen. Now this is basically a little bit like a keyboard. You've got all of the different alphanumerical combinations you could possibly imagine. So that's different symbols, numbers and letters in upper and lower case. So we're just going to move the cursor now left and right, just showing you that process. So if we want to move the cursor to the right, there we go. You can see just by pressing F1, we can slide it along to the right if we want the message to start maybe halfway along the screen, or alternatively we can move it to the left. So we're as far left now as we can possibly go. We're going to select now, so between F3 and F4 we can choose a character. Now what we do here with F3 is we're essentially going through all of the characters in one hit. If you want to go one way and cycle through the characters one way, you go F3. If you want to go the other way, F4. So it means if you run past a character that you've selected, and you, rather than go through the whole selection of characters again, you can just press F4 and go back one. So here we are. So if we press F3 the first time, we get the @ symbol, question mark, right arrow, equals. You get the picture. We'll just cycle through all of these here until we start to get to our numbers. There we are, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now we're into our letters. So let's just put something like, I don't know, BRM. Here we are, going through the selection. So B, which we've obtained. We can now go one to the right, which is for our next letter. And we'll do the same thing this time. So this time we'll just go with F4, so we're going the other way around with the letters to R. F1 again to go to the next character. We just press F4 again and cycle through them all. So M, which I've obtained. And you'll note here we've also got the time. This is displayed on the screen with the light function symbol of your DCC controller. So if I press that light function symbol, you can see we can either display a time, a live time on screen, or we can just not bother at all. So if we display the time as such, we can then program and set that time in a different CV via the main menu. So I'm just going to save that now by pressing F8, which is to save and finish. It will save it on screen, and you can see we've got the letters BRM and the live time at the moment, 9:04. Now there is a line underneath this which we can add a message to if we want to, and if the message is too long to fit on the screen will automatically scroll and display the entire message. Of course you can have multiple screens on this, each toggling between each other, and you can also set the delay between each of these displays. So for instance, you could have a 2-second delay between one message and another, you could have a 7-second delay, you get the picture. It's very, very customizable. Anyway, this is CV55, which we've been using to program the message and display it. We're now going to start configuring the clock time, and for that we're going to go back to our screen here. We're going to select address 56, validate that, and the clock is displayed in a 24-hour format. So if I want to change the time here from say 9:05 to 10:11, all we do is select the relevant functions to display 10:11. So for that I'm going to go to our keypad here. I'm going to enter 10, 11, and hey presto, on screen we have the time displayed as it should be. Now train text state in the instructions that this time is quite accurate throughout the day. However, if you find it coming out of sync, you can of course change the time very easily and just bring it back into synchronization. But for a model railway, for all intents and purposes, does it really matter if it's not displaying the time to the exact minute? So there you go, that's how you customize your message and the time on a TrainText smart screen. And well, you could be saying that these wires are actually quite large. I've soldered these on purely because they're quite sturdy, but TrainText provide thinner wires with its smart screen in the box. which you may want to use. And don't forget that Traintech also sells a back case for this display, which allows you to position it on the platform as a message board without worrying about making things out of plastic card or something like that, scratch building. So ready to use straight from the website there. So there you go, a quick introduction to Traintech's fantastic smart screen. I think the possibilities are endless with this on your model railway, and it's something that railway modelers have really been longing for many years to come. Add a little bit of animation to your model railway. Grab yourself a couple of these.